Well, boys and girls, today we have a pretty good podcast. Week 3 of the NFL season was wild, and we can all hope that week 4 is just as crazy. There isn't much to talk about in the review. We talk about the rookie quarterbacks, we're talking about Buffalo, we're talking about dirty hits in the NFL, and this quarterback rule that I think is so bullshit. Thank you guys for clicking on episode number 3. I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button if you'd like, and hit that like button if you enjoy, and comment if you disagree with anything I have to say. Thank you guys so much again, and let's get straight into it.
Let's start off jumping right into the Thursday night spectacle. It was a week ago, but still, Baker Mayfield has a lasting effect on the league, and I think everybody's excited to see him come out in week 2. And the Browns have done everything that we wanted them to do. The Browns put Baker Mayfield out. Their defense is still one of the best in the league, and they ended up beating the New York Jets, coming back from down 14. It was a crazy game, and it was the first win of the Browns in over 600 games. This game really set the stage for what we were going to see the rest of the week. We saw a lot of quarterbacks jumping in and dominating. The 2018 rookie class of quarterbacks came into play this week. First, we had Baker Mayfield come in, drop 200 plus yards in 2 quarters of play. He came in at the end of the first half, just before the first half ended, and he played a really, really good game of football. That was an enjoyment. If you watch the Thursday night game, then you got to see the Baker effect, and I think you got to see that Cleveland is a very, very formidable opponent for anybody in the NFL, and they're always going to be a chance. They're always going to have a chance to win the football game. As for the other quarterbacks out of the 2018 rookie class, we obviously had Sam Darnold, who didn't impress very much. He was playing against a stout defense on the Cleveland Browns, but still he didn't produce enough. And on that last play where he threw the interception, a lot of people were wondering, why throw that football, especially under that much pressure, especially if you had a good line of sight on the entire play and you saw 2 players homing in on that wide receiver. It was not a good play. And then, if you want to jump to another rookie quarterback who didn't have the greatest day, but still made a nice debut for the Arizona Cardinals, we have Josh Rosen, who you could say it was Josh Rosen, and you could say it was the defense, but we all know that even if Josh Rosen started and the defense played great, so whether it was Josh Rosen sparking the defense or what, they played a great game against Chicago, but 2 stout defenses. It was 16-14. You can't ask for more than that. The Bears, when they're playing well, aside from that second half of play in week 1, they have dominated the league and have one of the best defenses in the NFL. So you always got to watch out for that Bears defense. They can always keep the team in the game, and Trubisky is an inconsistent, but he can go on fire. He can start up on fire. He can get crazy. And that was a great game. 16-14 came down to the wire. Rosen threw a pick in the clutch. But again, it's against that Chicago Bears defense, and they dominated Seattle and Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is a veteran now. We also had, who else did we have? I don't want to get into the last quarterback I'm thinking of, because that quarterback deserves prayer. Praise on praise on praise. There was one more rookie quarterback. If you want to declare Patrick Mahomes, since this is his first season starting, obviously we'll get into him. We'll get into him dominating the league like he does. I think that was it for. We have Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield. I thought there was one more really, really good quarterback. Lamar Jackson didn't play. No, that was probably it. That was probably all the best rookies we got to see. But then, let's finalize this discussion, if we're going to talk about 2018 rookies, with the bounce back that was the Buffalo Bills. They came out and completely hammered the Vikings. From the first quarter to the third quarter, they were just completely dominating the Rams, and they played an amazing game of football. And everybody who doubted the Buffalo Bills, they just came out and played. And Josh Allen looked really, really good out there. He was playing good. He was throwing the ball good. He was really active as a mobile quarterback. He rushed for a touchdown. He went out there and really did put on a show for the Buffalo Bills, and it was exactly what they needed to bounce back from this. You even saw Josh Allen come out, score 2 touchdowns on the ground, it was just a really good game. And then we saw Chris Ivory. We didn't see any Sean McCoy, but we did see the other two players, and they did dominate the game. And then the Vikings. I don't know what happened to the Vikings this game. The defense wasn't playing well. The offense wasn't playing well. It was just a really, really rough game from start to finish. I think they're going to bounce back this week. As for Anthony Barr, we'll talk about him later. But that hurdle by Josh Allen was insanity. And we're going to see, hopefully the Buffalo Bills can stay consistent this year, bounce back from the first 2 weeks. The Cardinals looked not that bad, and they were the top two teams in my NFL worst last week, and I can't include them this week if they look that damn good. So good for those two teams, good for their fan bases. They really, really do deserve it in those two teams. Congratulations to those guys. Enough praise and enough being wrong. There's a lot there. Another storyline coming out of week 3 was Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes again dominated. I've talked about him in the second edition of the podcast. If you don't know, go back and watch that. I'm praising Patrick Mahomes. He's my pick for MVP. I picked him in week 1. After week 1, I picked Mahomes to be my MVP. And week 2, it was just supporting evidence. And then week 3 was just even more support to that claim. Mahomes looks amazing. You could blame it on the fact that teams don't have enough time to game plan against him, but Mahomes has a rocket of an arm and a rocket of an offense, and he is just going to dominate all year, and all the praise is going to come on him. I know some sports representatives are talking about how Mahomes has the talent around him, and it's a little bit too early to judge Mahomes, but you can judge the team around him. The team around him is a proven commodity. I did want to go into the fact that if we're going to say the team around Patrick Mahomes is doing it, if we go back to the 2017 season, and we're just going to do a 2017 comparison with Alex Smith, who isn't a bad player. Let's see the stat comparisons between Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith. So if we start off 2017, this isn't 2017, this is 2018. I want to see the 2017. So, the Chiefs in 2017, they beat the Patriots 42-27. They beat the Eagles 27-20. They beat the Chargers 24-10. And then they went on to beat the Redskins 29-20. So, actually, it looks like they were putting up a heavy amount of points. I know that Kareem Hunt was the focus this year because that was a rookie who bounced in. So, maybe it's just Andy Reid and knowing how to use his team to benefit the rest of the players. That might be the case with this team. If looking at the standings, I didn't think that they had such a good start last year. I do remember Kareem Hunt coming out and blasting the Patriots. I don't know if he blasted the Eagles in week 2. And I know that the Chiefs always dominate the Chargers, no matter where they are. They haven't lost the Chargers in so long. And I talked about that going in. That week 1 was the main focus there. So the Chiefs, Andy Reid always has the Chargers. So they did start off 4-0 last year. I do remember that. Alex Smith was looked up as the GOAT. You got to remember, you got to look at the past. So maybe Mahomes is a little bit, maybe it is a touchy subject right now, but man, the arm that he has, it just benefits whoever he plays for. Whoever he plays for, Mahomes is going to do a good job because he can deliver the ball at such a pace that if the wide receiver gets open for even a split second, Mahomes is going to be able to rifle it in there. And he's, for the most part, has been very, very accurate. Can he win the MVP? I think so. I'm going to stick to the fact that I think Mahomes is going to win MVP. But let's see, as he's going to hit a rough patch this year. We know he is. He's a rookie quarterback. Teams are slowly going to dig in on him. But we'll see if he can continue to play well. And if he can lead his team to the playoffs, maybe get 1 or 2 playoff wins. That's definitely a very big win for the Kansas City Chiefs going into next year when I think that they have a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. So that's my touch on Mahomes after week 3. And then I guess the only other thing this week, besides we're getting into some fun little topics here, I think the only other thing this week was... that was it, except for one more thing. Okay, I want to touch on this topic because I do feel a lot of it. I feel for this situation, what's happening in the NFL this year after the first 3 weeks, and what we've been noticing is the NFL's actions in the offseason putting an emphasis on quarterback safety. And it was predicted to be a topic of discussion this year. We all knew something was going to pop up about the rule changes against the defensive side of the ball, and is a topic of discussion this year. It's very, very rough. Now we're looking at an NFL season who is telling the defensive side of the ball, telling basically everybody, I guess it's for numbers, but they're telling everybody that the importance of the quarterback is above everything else. And they're taking away the integrity of the game. They're striking the integrity of the game in order to protect the quarterback, because the quarterback is, in essence, the money maker of the league. And I want to argue that point before I even get to the next point. That I just want to argue the point that, is it really that bad to lose a quarterback? And is it that dangerous with the rules that we have, where we don't have to flag every single time a D lineman tackles the quarterback? Injuries are a part of football. You see a wide receiver tear his ACL. You see a linebacker be paralyzed from the neck down. You don't change anything about that. You don't change the hits that are being made there. You don't do anything there. You don't limit how the running back can drop his shoulder into the defense. And you don't limit any of that, but then you're going to limit the fact that a defensive player who is rushing through 5 massive, beastly linemen, they can't put pressure on the quarterback when making a tackle, even though they're going to have 300-plus pound men pushing against them to try and keep them away. It's just so hypocritical in the league. It's really, really harming my view of the NFL. And if I'm really going to go into how good quarterbacks of this generation are, this was a topic on all the main radio stations, all the main news, and it was really, really a common theme, is that you can't compare quarterbacks in this generation to quarterbacks of the past generation, because quarterbacks in the past had to deal with so much more injuries, pressure, fear, all those sorts of things that all play into how good a quarterback can play, and all that is being taken away from the league because they want to protect quarterback health and they want to protect the moneymakers of the NFL. You look at the 2017 season, Carson Wentz went down, and Nick Foles was the biggest thing in the NFL playoffs. I watched the NFL last year. I don't know how many fans turned off the TV during the NFL season that year, but it's not that big of a deal. The Packers dropped because they lost Aaron Rodgers, because they don't have a team around him. The Eagles built a team around the quarterback. They were still good with their backup quarterback, and you're still punishing the defenses. You're basically punishing those teams that don't have a good quarterback but have a great team that can support the quarterback. So if we're keeping all the quarterbacks healthy, you're really saying get a good quarterback. If you don't, you lose. And it just ruins the league. It does make the league so much worse, in my opinion, because it sets up the fact that the league is so easily dependent on how a quarterback can play. And if a quarterback is really good, there's really nothing you can do to stop him. You can't hit him harder. You're getting a 15-yard penalty that could change the outcome of games. It's changing the outcome of games. It did with Clay Matthews in the Minnesota Vikings game. It's really, really to heart here of all the defensive players on that side of the ball, and they know that they can't do anything to harm the quarterback. So the quarterback is going off like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers to put up remarkable, outstanding, historic numbers that are inflated by the fact that the NFL is so heavily protecting the quarterback. If you want to watch a sport where they can protect players, where it's not about big hits and a lot of talent around the field, then go watch basketball, because the basketball is that league. And I think the NFL is taking, because basketball is blowing up so much, they're saying we need players that can build our brand, and they can only do that through the quarterback position. And I don't know why they're doing this. Why can't they build a player around a player like Lawrence Taylor? Why can't they build around players like that? It's crazy. It's stupid. It's horrible. It's a hard sport with a lot of injuries. Football is just that. So if you can't take that and you don't want that, we all know we want to protect people's health. That's very, very important. But you're not protecting the health of anybody but the quarterback. It's so biased, and I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. If a quarterback goes down, we prayers up that he gets healthy. We're trying our best to get a good O-line to protect your quarterback. The quarterbacks should not be pushed to make plays with their feet. If they're getting tackled, go down. And if they are injured, the recovery and the amount of money that has to go into helping players that get hurt needs to continue to go up. That's how you protect players' futures, is by helping them recover properly. And don't force them to be the franchise put the franchise, put all the pressure of that being on the quarterback, because injuries are going to happen. And the best way to help a player who gets injured is to help them through their recovery, bring them so that their future isn't jeopardized by the injury, and that's the best way to do it. It's not the best way to do it is not protecting a single player that makes you the most money. And I can't believe a lot of other NFL players are not noticing this, because if you're going to be in practice as a college player, now you're thinking, man, they're looking at that quarterback. Why didn't I be a quarterback? Why doesn't every football player want to be a quarterback? It's crazy because it's the most overprotected position. It's the most highlighted position for anybody. I just don't like it. I don't like the direction the NFL is going with this. I think that they're going to continue to go too far with it. I'm agreeing with players like Clay Matthews. I'm agreeing with players that have come out and disagreed with the league in pushing this. I know James Harrison brought up good points. All those kind of guys. Shannon Sharp brought up good points. It's so true to the fact that we need defensive players. It's part of the game. It's part of the sport. So let's keep it like that. Come on, guys. This is the most obvious thing ever. And I'm going to rest my point there. I'm going to rest on the fact that the NFL needs to slow down with this, maybe reverse some of the mistakes that they've made, and make the league not a one-sided piece of trash dependent on how good your quarterback is. It affects everything. It affects who's winning. It affects how to win. And it affects people wanting to get into the sport. Athletes that want to play football are being affected by this. So we need to benefit the players. That's enough for the Week 3 news. We have the quarterback madness over with. This week was a good one, and I want to debut a new top 5 alongside the best and the worst. I want to debut the top 5 surprises because we're through 3 weeks of football. There have been a lot of surprises, and I'm loving life. So let's get into the top 5 surprises without further ado. Let's try and get it through these. Not that fast, but let's try and get through everything. At number 5, I have the NFC. No, not the NFC. I have the AFC East. Did anybody expect this? I don't think so. The Patriots are tied for last in the division. Granted, all 3 teams under the Dolphins are tied for last, but they're tied with the New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills. That's not good. This division is open for the taking, and the Dolphins are winning 3-0. And if the Patriots can't bounce back from this, we're going to see a team in the AFC East that isn't the New England Patriots since 2002. Just that in itself is one of the biggest surprises. And I can't stress this enough. Thank God that the Patriots aren't good anymore. And hopefully we can see some openness to the league. I'm a blatant Patriot hater. I hate greatness. I don't hate greatness. I love to hate greatness, but I understand greatness when it's great. So the Patriots are 1-2. If you would have projected the Dolphins to be 3-0, the Bills were the second best team, the wild card team last year, but the Dolphins are the 3-0 football team with a quarterback that's returning from injury. This would be the first year the Patriots don't win this division since Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl in 2002. That's clocking in at my number 5 surprise of the 2018 season so far. At number 4, I have Ryan Fitzmagic. Keep it that way, Fitzmagic. I don't even care about this week. This week he had a bad first half. His first half made him look like he was human still. He was an inconsistent quarterback at the start of the game. He threw a few picks that weren't really his fault, but were picks nonetheless. But came back in that second half and showed us how good he is. He dominated the Pittsburgh secondary. He dropped perfect passes, deep bombs to Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson. That team is really, really good with Fitzpatrick in. And after week 3, we're all sticking with Ryan Fitzmagic as the Buccaneers starting quarterback. And nobody would have expected him to be 2-1 after 3 games. And he might be 3-1 next week, but we will have to see where this goes. As of week 3, Ryan Fitzmagic, you're my number 4 biggest surprise. Number 3, this is crazy because I have an NFC East as my number 5, and then I have the Miami Dolphins as number 3. This is crazy. I couldn't keep them off this list if I was including the division. The division is focusing more on the Patriots not winning it. This one is more focused on Miami Dolphins, and it's even crazier. If you thought that the Dolphins would be 3-0 atop the entire AFC with the LA Rams, I'd call you a crazy fool. Brush your word off for dumb. Word of a dumb opinion. And go on with my day. And then realize after this week that you were right and a maestro for NFL predictions. Luckily, that didn't happen to me. But this team is coming off of a serious quarterback injury, and a decent and now underrated receiving core with Kenny Stills who looks like the second coming of Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones. He has been playing amazing, out of his mind, and a defense that I would have called nothing special. But now they're 3-0 with the Patriots' first back-to-back losses in like forever. This division could be theirs, and it's theirs for the taking. I just wanted to drop kudos to Miami, number 3. Number 2, I have Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he's been on my best list each week. He had passed all the great quarterbacks and the most touchdowns after his 3 debut weeks. If Fitzmagic is on this list at number 4, I could not avoid including Patrick Mahomes up here at the top or near the top. I've been bandwagon Mahomes since week 1. Since after week 1. I didn't bandwagon him going into the regular season, or he wouldn't be on the biggest surprises list. And I don't think this is going to slow down for any extended period of time. He has been handling all the competition with a defense that may be competing for worst in the league. I know they're going to lose some games, but this kid is a rocket, a superstar. I'm excited to see where he goes from here. Number 2, Patty Mahomes. Number 1, this doesn't even have to do with the start of the season, and it's another NFC East entry on the biggest surprises. The biggest surprise is after the first 2 weeks, the Buffalo Bills came out and dominated the Vikings in the fashion that they did. If I had them at number 1 worst things last week, there's no doubt I have to put them on the number 1 surprise this week, especially after looking so good on defense and offense. Josh Allen hurdling everybody. Great game for Josh Allen. Thank God we got to see the Bills step out of that shadow. They were 0-2, now they're 1-2, and you can't say that this year has been anything but unpredictable. It's craziness this year. Buffalo Bills, you're number 1, and you just summarized how crazy this year has been. It's really, really hard to predict. I think I've gone negative. I went negative on my predictions this week. That's how wild it was. If you predicted the Bills, if you went positive, let me know, but I don't think you did, because this week was insanity. That was my top 5 surprises list. We're going to get straight into the top 5 best. Top 5 best at number 5, I have the Saints and the Falcons game this week. Man, was that crazy. I enjoyed it from snap to snap, an overtime thriller. It was awesome. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Great football game. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It was awesome. Number 4, I have Josh Allen. Boom. Did anyone see that athleticism coming? What a huge leap and a great game. Shout out to Josh Allen. You coming in at number 4. Number 3, I have the 2018 rookie quarterbacks. I said it above. They've all been slinged into bad situations, minus maybe Baker Mayfield, and they've all won or came extremely close in the case of Josh Rosen. And Josh Rosen has only been given 1 start. The top 4 rookies are all starting as of now. Lamar Jackson looks good. Pittsburgh's backup quarterback looks good. Mason Rudolph, he's been in the news saying that he's going to take over when Big Ben is done. 2018 rookie quarterbacks, you couldn't ask for any more. And even if you're going to want to consider debuting Patrick Mahomes, dominant quarterbacks debuting this year. Miami Dolphins. Said it all in the surprises top 5. These guys are tied up there as the best until they're proven otherwise. Shout out Miami, number 2. Number 1, I have the NFL's first 3 weeks of football. They've been crazy, unexpected, controversial, and fun. They made this podcast super fun to do. Shout out the NFL at the number 1 best spot from week 3. Top 5 worst, we have the Patriots. Patriots have lost 2 in a row. First time since whatever the hell. Look the facts up yourself. Patriots, you're not looking too good. You're going to let Miami win the division? First time since 2002? I think so. Let's go Patriots at number 5. Number 4, I have Anthony Barr. Man, you got hurdled by Josh Allen. You better get out there next week. You better hit the quarterback hard. Take the flags. Don't give a damn. You hit him one way, getting flagged. Go in there, dominate, smash that quarterback. Let him know who you are. Number 3, Hugh Jackson, further playing on the fact that Tyrod might be starting. With a question after week 3, he said, I don't know who's going to start. Stop questioning the starter for week 4. It's Baker Mayfield. You're number 3, worst. Number 2, NFL rules to protect quarterback. It should be number 1, but the number 1 spot is probably the worst take I have ever seen in my life. It's come up in so many games. I just went over it. NFL, number 2. Number 1, the worst thing I heard at week 3 up to week 3 was Stephen A. Smith, who came out and said Mahomes isn't the best young quarterback on First Take this week. Seriously, go watch it. It's the dumbest take maybe in the history of the NFL. I don't know if you heard the question, but he said no. Stephen A., you're top in the top 5 worst. Come on, man. What the hell was that? That is what we are doing. for the top 5 surprises. So top 5 surprises, we have the AFC East, Ryan Fitzmagic, the Miami Dolphins, Patrick Mahomes, the Buffalo Bills. The number of top 5 best, I have the Saints versus Falcons Week 3 matchup. Josh Allen, the 2018 rookie quarterbacks, the Miami Dolphins, and the NFL's first 3 weeks. The top 5 worst, the Patriots, Anthony Barr, Hugh Jackson, the NFL, and Stephen A. Smith. That's a summary of my list. If you disagree, leave it in the comment section below, but I don't think that you can. It's so clear. It's clear spoken. You can't prove against any of them. Maybe you saw something even worse than I saw. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you saw something even better than I saw. Let me know in the comment section below. I don't have time to look up it all, but that's just a summary of what I got. The next segment, obviously, we're going to do picks. These picks, I'm not going through all the picks anymore. I've clearly noticed that this year I can't get any picks right. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to go on Bet365, the sports betting app, one of the best sports betting apps out there, and I'm going to take underdogs that I think might win. I've already looked at them. I'm looking at them again to see what I got. So if you're going to bet on Bet365 this week for who is going to win, I'm not doing none of that point spread stuff, who's going to win games, and you want an underdog that maybe Bet365 is overlooking. Here's my list. Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers. Buffalo's a plus 325 coming off a great win against Minnesota, who tied Green Bay. Green Bay's defense isn't that good. Buffalo's offense played great this week. We may jump to conclusions too quickly here, but I think the Buffalo Bills have enough to beat the Green Bay Packers, and they're a plus 325. That means for every dollar you put, you're getting 325 back. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills as the underdog. The next matchup, I have the underdog Cleveland Browns against the Oakland Raiders. I like the Raiders. They're not worth an 0-3 team. I think at least 1-2 or 2-1. They have a good team, but this Cleveland Browns team with Baker Mayfield, Oakland, John Gruden, they haven't had enough time to plan. I'm taking Cleveland. Big win in this game, and they're going 2-1-1 after last year. 2 wins in over 665 days. Who knows the last time they won back-to-back games? But Baker Mayfield, I think he gets it done. I had one more pick. Baltimore Ravens, underdog against Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that they're the underdog going into this game. The way they played the Broncos this week, I think that they have a very, very good team, and I think that they have a very, very good chance of winning the game. So I am going to have to take the Baltimore Ravens that week. Oh, I even see another one. I didn't even notice this when I was saying it, but they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the underdogs this week. So I'm taking the Cleveland Browns over Oakland. That's plus 125. Buffalo plus 325. Baltimore plus 150. Tampa Bay plus 135. I'm going to put $3 down. If I get all 3 of these picks right, it's just to win the game. I get $168 in return. It's a big week. A lot of upsets this NFL season. Go in. If you're above the betting age, maybe get into some betting. Don't bet too much. I never want to bet more than maybe $5 a week. So I'm doing $3 this week. $168 return. It's craziness. A lot of upsets. We all know that this has been crazy. Top 5 surprises. You got to put the NFL in there and maybe 6 or 7 with all the upsets that have been happening. I think I'm taking this list. I think I can do it. $3. We got this. So remember, Cleveland Browns plus 125. Buffalo Bills plus 325. Baltimore Ravens plus 150. Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 135. You take off maybe Baltimore Tampa. Those are pretty risky picks. Put $3 on just Buffalo Cleveland. You're getting $30 in return. Awesome. Remember those picks. Those are my top 5 underdog wins, or 4 underdog wins. Maybe next week we'll have more. Maybe next week we'll have less. But there you guys go. As to the podcast this week, I think I pretty much covered everything. The rookies blazing the league. We got the controversy doing the hits. We got some top 5s. We got some picks in there. I think I've done everything I've wanted in this podcast. And I don't want to make it 30 minutes. So we're at 27 minutes. That's great enough. Maybe with the intro, it might be a little more, but thank you guys so much for watching. Again, week 3 of the podcast is done. If you have any comments on how to structure it, stuff like that, how I can improve my talking, if I'm yelling too much, if I'm talking too quietly too much, if you like this take, if you don't like that take, let me know, please, in that comment section below. I love hearing it from you guys. Remember, if you're watching in the day, have a great day. If you're watching at night, have a great night, and let's enjoy week 4 of football. Thank you for watching Just Football Talking. Peace.